The people have spoke their minds, the county listened, and they made a change.
Have the people protecting Poquito Bayou done anything to reach out to the property owners of the 40 acres?
Again, the squeaky wheel makes things happen.
Hello, Dave, and welcome back to the studios of Emerald Coast Life and Homes. It's good to have you here. I know people are curious about the update of the proposed project in Poquito Bayou. What is the latest with people protecting Poquito Bayou?
Well, Mike, thanks for having me come back to give an update. We've been very, very busy since we had our last video. In early March, we kicked off a petition campaign to get North Drive closed off into the new proposed subdivision. We had several concerned individuals that went door to door and they collected over 50 signatures. Lori Sonata presented those signatures at the County Commissioners meeting on March 14th. And we had about 20 people attending the County Commissioners meeting representing our area, and about 10 to 12 individuals spoke against that particular opening of North Drive into the proposed subdivision. The end result was the County Commissioners advised Okaloosa County Growth Management folks to cut it off, and Growth Management told the engineering firm to modify the site plans, and as a result, North Drive is now closed off. This is a very good example how the people have spoke their minds, the county listened, and they made a change.
We know that years ago there was an asphalt plant on this property that hasn't been used in a while. What's the latest with that?
Well, Michael, back on March 1st when I gave my presentation, a concerned citizen attending the presentation contacted EPA and as a possible Superfund site because of the activity that went on there from a commercial perspective, with resulting in possible contamination. The EPA directed the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Agency to gain access to the property to investigate those claims. However, they've been unable to get access onto the site because the owners will not allow them to get onto the property. So we had a stalemate with that particular situation. Compounding the problem, Florida Department of Environmental Protection has got to sign off their part as far as the development order review process, but they don't have a complete set of documentation. There was cleanup done at different times, but nothing all-encompassing, just bits and pieces. So they don't have that final good housekeeping seal of approval letter saying the soil at the asphalt plant is good. There's our issue. I continually brought it up at every county commissioners meeting in the last 3 or 4 meetings, and I keep pressing the case. What are you going to do if you don't have documentation? Simple as that. You got to do something.
Have the people protecting Poquito Bayou done anything to reach out to the property owners of the 40 acres?
We have. Over a year ago, 13 months ago, we sent an initial letter to the family asking to take in consideration the environmental consequences of using D.R. Horton, since they were notorious for clear cutting all the trees. No response. In March this year, we sent another letter wanting to meet with them and even sent them register mail return receipt. No response. Actually, one letter never went back to the post office because it wasn't picked up. And we've had other initiatives to make contact, and there's been no response from the family whatsoever.
What initiatives have people protecting Poquito Bayou done to bring this to the public's attention?
Well, since the Florida Department of Environmental Protection was unable to gain access to the property, we decided let's do our own well water testing. See if the well water has been contaminated in any way from the asphalt plant. So we reached out and made contact with GLM and Associates to do well water testing. They collected the samples in accordance with Florida DEP requirements. They did the testing, and we had 3 homes, 2 on North and 1 on Sherilyn Drive, have to be tested. And the result was everything was good. And we were testing for petrochemicals, types of chemicals that would be used at an asphalt plant. And fortunately for those wells were good. So good news is our well water in that area appears to be good. However, it was just a very limited test. Keep that in mind. And then after that, we decided to do a door-to-door petition requesting, or I should say demanding, level 1 testing for the soil before the sale goes through. This is similar to what any real estate transaction would require. And so we did this door-to-door campaign, concerned citizens gathered about 335 signatures from that. And then we did a similar online petition requesting the same thing, level 1 testing for the soil. And we had over 200 signatures there. We presented those signatures to the county commissioner meeting back in, I think it was in June. One reason why we want to do the petitions demanding this testing to be done, we want to make sure the soil at the former asphalt plant site is free of any contamination. And if by chance there is any contamination, the soil is remediated before the construction actually starts.
With the news of the Bob Hope Enlisted Village's new project, the Victory Village, how does that affect what's going on?
Well, first of all, we've always applauded Bob Hope Enlisted Village for how they are good stewards of the land. If you've gone on to the Bob Hope Enlisted Village site, there's lots of trees. This is going to be totally opposite of what you're going to have with the D.R. Horton construction. There's going to be no trees. So we've always applauded them for being good stewards of the environment. Now, of course, you got to cut down trees to put your buildings on, but there's always extra trees there in the area, in the common areas. Now, our biggest concern is this. We need to bring this up to the county commissioners to keep in mind, okay, you have Legendary Cove being built by D.R. Horton, 139 homes. Now you've got the 80 acres for Victory Village. Okay, the county needs to start thinking about, okay, the increase for the water, the sewer, and the more traffic we're going to face in the next 5 to 10 years with the building of this new addition to Bob Hope Village.
Dave, what other initiatives have people protecting Poquito Bayou accomplished?
Well, Mike, we've reached out and made contact with a local attorney, Mr. Mike Chesser. He's a local attorney in Shalimar. He had an idea that would help everybody. Let's turn the subdivision north and have the ingress-egress from Lewis Turner through Eglin property into the new subdivision. That way we don't see it. It'll help our traffic situation out immensely. He presented that idea to our county commissioner, Carolyn Ketchel, and then they had conversations with Eglin Air Force Base about the idea, and they were open to it. And then Mr. Chesser attempted to reach out to the family, D.R. Horton, and the engineering firm, but no one was interested in entertaining the idea with him. So that idea right now has kind of hit a brick wall. So we're not sure what's going to happen. It's a good idea. There's going to be a few more trees cut down, but we will not see the extra increase in traffic. So it's a kind of a balance there.
There was a 60-day review process by the county. What's the results of that?
Well, that review by the county ended in late May, early June. They identified other discrepancies, which started another 45-day review of the documents. And as a result, Shirley Godbold was making a big case about the misalignment of Stellar Drive, the main entrance to this proposed subdivision, was off about 5 feet with Hillcrest Drive. According to the County Land Development Code, all intersections must align. And Ms. Godbold mentioned that over and over and over again. As a result, they finally fixed the problem. Again, the squeaky wheel makes things happen. So that's what we're trying to do. Any discrepancies, we're trying to bring it to the attention of the county commissioners. Now, as a result of the review, we noticed there's an extra retention pond in the southwest corner of the property. And as a result, everything, the sizes of the lots got smaller as a result of this. The average lot size is like 0.16 acres to about 0.23 acres in size, and there's about 4 or 5 lots, mainly in the corners, that are much larger due to the size, the location of that particular lot. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, you're talking probably 0.18 size acre lot, much smaller. So it was mainly technical changes. So as a result, our new date for the final review will end about the 28th of July. So we've got between now and the 28th of July to get any other technical changes that we see in the documentation identified and given to the growth management folks.
Well, Dave, what's the latest initiative?
Well, one thing we're looking at right now is we're going back to looking at the species that are on the property. And one is the red-coated woodpecker. It is a federally endangered species, both federal and state level. It's protected by the Migratory Bird Protection Act. And so we're going to look at that, and we're actually trying to get folks, especially bird watchers with a big telephoto lens, to find us a picture or take multiple pictures of the red-cocated woodpecker near the property. Now, we do have one concerned citizen, Shelley Haspel. She lives at 6 Sherilyn. She's offered her backyard, and her property is butts up against the proposed subdivision, so you can go by there and say, we want to take pictures, and they'll let you use their backyard. They'll let them use their backyard, and you can take pictures. We need to provide pictures to the Florida Fish Wildlife Conservation Committee to let them know that there's the red-cocated woodpecker is on there, so that they could take some kind of action. Now, can they stop the project? No, but they can make sure that they're protected.
So what's happening now, Dave?
Well, the latest, as I mentioned earlier, the cutoff date for providing any technical changes to the documentation is July 28th. One of 3 things is going to happen. First is if there are more questions about the existing documentation, that could open up another 45-day window for the county to give questions to the engineering firm to answer and to fine-tune or tweak the development order documentation, just like we had just recently. That's one possibility. Number 2 is, okay, we're done. We're done reviewing. There's no more questions. Now we're going to approve the development order. That's where the sign on Sunset is going to change from a yellow sign to a white sign. At that point, we had like a week to submit our petition for a memorandum of error with the county stating our objections to this proposed subdivision. If there are no other questions about the documentation, and then the County Growth Management Office will probably approve the development order. The sign on Sunset Drive will change from yellow to white. At that point, we'll have a week to submit documentation, a petition for a development order hearing to state our objection. So, in about 2 weeks after that, if the county accepts what we provided to them, then we're going to submit a petition for a development order hearing memorandum of error documentation, which goes in more detail, and that's where we're going to cite specific county and state regulations why we object to this proposed development. Our third scenario, if we go back, we're trying to get Florida Department of Environmental Protection to get access onto the site. Let's say hypothetically they finally get access and they find something, and then that puts everything on hold until any possible contamination that they find has been remediated, and then we start the process over.
What do people protecting Poquito Bayou need to do right now?
One thing is, first and foremost, we need folks helping us out, experts. That's what we need right now. Environmental, traffic, water, to help us pick through these documents, find any technical errors. Again, this is technical questions. We're all novices. So we need these experts to go through the documents and also talk before the county commissioners. We can have 100 people oppose this development, but it takes one good expert to talk like E.F. Hutton and say, this is why you shouldn't build this. So we need the experts. Number 2, we need people to show up at the county commissioners meetings. We had a good turnout March 14th. Since then, we've had on the average 2 to 5 people at the county commissioners meetings. And we're coming to the end. We need a lot of people to voice their opposition to this proposed development. So we need people to show up, and we need the experts, folks who've done research, to talk about the various subjects, about the roads, about how much increase of the water system. This proposed development is going to tax our existing infrastructure. Those are the kind of experts we need to help us out right there. A lot of people complaining about it's not going to do it. We get the experts. The other thing we need to kick off another fundraiser to beef up our bank account. Sometimes we have to pay for experts. So that's where we need to kick off another fundraising effort. If we have to get some more experts, we have to pay for them.
Well, Dave, thanks again for coming in. There's a lot of useful information that people are curious to know. We sure appreciate your time.
Well, Michael, thank you very much for having me on. And again, we have our Facebook webpage, People Protecting Poquito Bayou. If you haven't gone on there yet, please access the site, request permission to join. If you need to be on our email list, mdhensley13 at gmail.com, email me and I'll get you on the list. And we just need your support. We need everybody's support. We're on the final stretch. We're on the third turn going for the finish line, and we need everybody's help to make this happen. Hopefully the next time we meet, I'll have good news that things have changed for the better for us.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks. What are the people of Poquito Bayou doing? What initiatives have people protecting Poquito?
Yeah, I think we did.
Thanks again to Mr. Dave Hensley for taking time out of his day to give us updates on this proposed project. The Facebook page mentioned for concerned citizens about this project is called People Protecting Poquito Bayou. I'll be giving updates on this matter as information becomes available.